The City of Ellsworth has partnered with the Ellsworth Moose Lodge for a new initiative aimed at increasing volunteerism.
Bill Nelson and Anthony Wyman have created a volunteer pool of people ready to assist when needed. The two saw a need in the community, saying they often struggled to find volunteers, and those who wish to volunteer couldn't always find opportunities to do so.
Wyman says the initiative is designed to put the right people onto the right jobs as it caters to each volunteer's ability and interests. The program began roughly 2 weeks ago, and while they're still looking for many more volunteers, the lodge is excited by the amount of interest so far.
You know, this really falls into what we are as Moose Lodge, community-driven, you know, support like this, any type of efforts like this, we've been involved with, and we've never really sought outside attention for it. We just do these things because we know, you know, it's going to enrich the community. So it's kind of rewarding to see seeing people take interest in what we're doing here.
Those who wish to join the volunteer pool can reach out to the Moose Lodge at 664-5199.